As the food industry from farm to fork grapples with the COVID-19 pandemic, I hope you will tune into Grocery COVID-19 on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Winsight Grocery Business and Supermarket Guru Facebook pages. On these Lempert Report videos, we will address COVID-19 stories, as well as to continue our focus on marketing analysis, issues, and trends for the food industry. Expect more food shortages on imports. While most of the attention has been focused short term by filling shelves with toilet paper, eggs, milk, and now meat, we need to take a step back and look globally at how that's going to impact our supply. Remember that most of the food factories in China have been closed. They are just starting to reopen, and we import a lot of food from China. Seafood, produce, garlic, processed mushrooms, to name just a few. And in the light of tariffs on foods that are imported from the EU over the Boeing-Airbus battle, our great wines, meats, and cheese factories in Italy and France, in particular, are closed as well. On top of the closures, which will cause shortages, the majority of food and beverage products from those parts of the world are shipped to the U.S. by boat, and those require ports. And as Bloomberg reports, the port backups that have paralyzed food shipments around the world for weeks aren't getting much better. In fact, in some places, they're getting worse. They report that in the Philippines, officials at a port that's a key entry point for rice said earlier that the terminal was at risk of shutting down as thousands of shipping containers pile up because of lockdown measures are making them harder to clear customs. Curfews in Guatemala and Honduras, known for their specialty coffees, are limiting operating hours at ports and slowing shipments. And in parts of Africa, which is heavily dependent on food imports, there aren't enough workers showing up to help unload the cargo. Then there's the problem of the shipping containers themselves. They're scattered all over the world amid the supply chain disruption. And as countries shut down, those containers were left stranded, some empty, some with food, both with produce shortages and higher prices. Bloomberg also reports that Paul Oikon, executive director of the Port of South Louisiana, the largest tonnage port district in the U.S., has a big worry. And his big worry is the threat of sick workers. COVID-19 has already forced some security personnel to self-isolate, and vessel crews are no longer allowed on shore in an effort to stem the spread. I fear we're going to lose some workers, and when you lose workers, it gets harder to keep the same pace, he said. We're going to see a slowdown.